Peace and greetings. Welcome to the Street 16 podcast. I am your host, Michael Barclift, and I'm here with the returning champion, Sister Zenobia Lewis to my left. Say what's up, Ms. Lewis.
Hey, y'all.
All right. And to my right, I got the king himself, my man, my family, my partner in MCing, my co-defendant as we fight the laws of injustice in the underground hip-hop world. We got the God, Norfolk's own Blake the Burner is in the building. What's up, my man?
What's good, my brother? Good to see you. It's good to be here. I appreciate you.
Yo, Blake been busy, yo. Blake been getting busy, working on his projects, working on his building, on his businesses and his LLC. We got a chance to get together this past weekend and record one of the music videos for my album Pages. Stands for Problems All Gonna End Soon. You can stream that on streaming platforms, the Have-Nots. The album is called Pages. But we had a good time, didn't? What you say, Blake?
I'm gonna say, man, it was more than a good time. It was more than I expected, for real, man. Just to be able to link back up with you, man, and build, you know what I'm saying, with somebody that I know I came a long way with. We got a good relationship back in the day, and you in a good place, man, and I congratulate you, yo.
Word. Thank you for being a part of it, man. We had a good time. Zenobia was there. She was there.
Yes, I was.
Did she contribute?
Yeah, she did her thing, man. She basically good energy, good advice. Yeah, man, all around.
Yeah, I can
Beautiful
bring some
energy.
energy, and I'm here to learn some things from you guys because y'all seem like y'all a few steps ahead of me, but I'm always willing to learn.
What did you learn from us, Zenobia? Did you learn? I want to know what she learned from us, from spending a few hours in the workstation with the Have-Nots and Blake the Burner. I want to know what's her takeaway from that experience.
I always wondered how they edited videos, from scene to scene, and to see it, right there in front of my eyes, it was like, wow, this is how it's done. And Blake, I'm so sorry, I touched that. And Blake has showed himself as a professional, and I don't know what to call you, Michael or Naughty at this point.
Well, I'm sort of like one of those superheroes with an alter ego where I can transform from Mike to Naughty to Michael Barclift to Overflow. Like I can change forms. I'm a shapeshifter.
Okay, well, it showed that you've been in the business for a while.
Wow.
It came out.
Right, let's clap that up.
Yeah.
Let's clap that up. Shout out to the OGs.
I appreciate being among the best.
Well, speaking of being in the business for a while, all right, we're going to get into a few of tonight's topics, and we're going to talk about art and creative expression. And my brother Blake, he just celebrated his birthday. He just celebrated his 48th birthday.
Happy birthday, happy 48th.
Yes. For the cancers, right?
Yeah.
Cancer season.
Shout out to all the cancers. Y'all know what it is.
What's significant about Blake celebrating his first 48, as I call it, is there is an endangered species, and this species often gets neglected, rejected, rebuked, judged. They get overlooked and condemned for just existing. And I'm part of that tribe, and the tribe I'm talking about is the 50-year-old rapper. The 50-year-old rapper, okay? Now, I can go through the list of 50-year-old rappers, 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Nas, Rakim, Black Thought. We got a lot of them, all right, that still get respect and still put out great music. But, there is a sort of a judgment, and you hear young people all the time telling you, yo, you too old for that. You too old for that. You too old for that. You know what I mean? And you don't never hear white people telling their old-ass rock and rollers, you too old for that. Get off stage, Mick Jagger and friends. You know what I'm saying? Get off stage, Dead and Company and, all these other people.
Right.
Get off stage, Willie Nelson or whoever. I'm running out of white people because my bandwidth is low. I have a busy week. But the old white people,
Charlotte,
they still get love. the old rock and rollers, the old country music singers.
You're never
Nah.
too old to learn.
But
And
we talking about
yeah.
performing, like
Right.
if you good at your craft, you know, and recording music, like, you know, if you good at your craft,
Yeah. Shouldn't be no age to it, yo. It should be no age, like no, like I ain't gonna lie, like I understand exactly what you're saying. That rock and roll compared to hip hop, I don't know, like I'm gonna say like we more calmer. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you listen to hip hop, we saying something. We have a message. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying rock and roll don't got a message, but I notice they like to jump around and break like guitars, and they like to jump in the crowd and surf and knowing people, and we different. When you at a hip hop concert, we're not breaking equipment.
So
We
they not
more
like
civilized.
us.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, but they still get more respect than us. Like brother said, as far as like nobody's criticizing them stopping their craft for their age. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like it ain't no age to rock and roll.
And
But it
why
ain't.
is that?
I really don't know because I'm not. You know what I mean? I can only speak for hip hop. I know that there's no age for hip hop for me. I mean, like I feel like I can keep. I feel like we're saying more than what the youth is saying. Like they really not to me saying anything right now that's uplifting the people. Honestly, it's only I can say it's a handful, but you gotta go find them. And if you don't, if they're not putting themselves out there, they're not creating enough content to be more. You know what I mean. Nobody can find you.
Who do
So
you think their audience is?
oh man, it's hard to find your audience because you gotta make sure the niche that you pick, like whatever it is that you stand strong in, you gotta push it and you gotta stand on it. Because if you don't, you can lose yourself. Like when you gain that momentum, you don't want to lose it. Whatever it is that when you find your niche, you gotta stand on that. Because if you don't and you lose it,
True
hey,
that.
the
True.
momentum is
uh,
serious.
all right, well, you know, like there's a difference between famous, wealthy celebrities who everyone knows and everyone knows their catalog and respects their catalog.
Right.
They get a different level of respect, even though they still might get some judgment for being, you know, 50-year-old rappers. I think it was 21 Savage who, like a year or two ago, had came out and said Nas was irrelevant. And they had a little, you know, static. Then they pieced it out, and then Nas did a track with him.
Yeah,
You know how he
yeah.
do.
Okay,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
I
Chess
gotta hear
master.
that track then, because if he said that, yeah, he had to.
Yeah, but Nas didn't come at him like he didn't come at him hard. He came at him like, yo, we could piece it out, we could
Respectful,
work
yeah,
together
right.
and show
And that's what we
unity.
do.
And
That's what we
that's
do.
what a 50 year
That's what we
old
do.
that's what a 50
Right.
year old would do.
Right.
See, a 23-year-old would clap back, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying?
and they
But see,
gonna-
when you old enough, when you're 50, you have the wisdom to be like, you know what?
right,
Yeah, he was wrong for that. You know what I'm saying? But let me bring him in and show him, you know what I mean?
Right.
And show the world unity instead of showing the world brothers bickering.
right,
All right?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I love
Believe
that
me,
vibration.
that was a 50-year-old who came up with that idea, not a 23-year-old.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
beautiful.
So we're gonna shout that out. All right.
Salute.
But here's another thing that I find interesting about this situation. Rapping is essentially kicking game. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was growing up, all the OGs, all the unks, grandpops, all of them, they kick some game to you. They kick some wisdom. They kick some game about money, about women, about the world, about the police, about white folks, about niggas in the hood. Like the old heads kick some game to you. So we want to just cut off our elders and say, nah, old men, the 50-year-old men ain't allowed to kick no game no more because all we want to listen to is the wisdom of the young people. Like, is that the world that y'all live in? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you as a 22-year-old to tell a 50-year-old what he can and can't do?
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I think the like telling a 50-year-old now, okay, so there's this stigma, stereotype that brothers don't want to get a job and brothers don't want to pay their bills because they just want to be a rapper and they just live in that dream of being a rapper and making it big and they just laying on grandmama couch and they wife beater, you know, eating big bowls of cereal and farting in the living room.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Nah, I'm not talking about those people. Like if you dealing with those people, yeah, that person needs to get up and be productive in his life.
Right.
But when you 50-year-old and you got stacks, you got your health,
Right.
you got your queen, your family's intact, your bills is paid, you got 401k, you got retirement funds, you got stocks, you got investments, you got portfolio, you got multiple vehicles, you a homeowner. When you got shit like that, why the F can you not go in the studio with your money that you've earned that's not getting taken away from your phone bill or your water bill? When you got 800, 750, 770 credit score, why can you not go in the studio as a hobby and just create music? Like, what the F is wrong with that?
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Nothing. Like, you got the free time. Like, you done did everything you need to do. All your business is handled. So if that's something you want to do in your free time, you can do that. I don't care how long you're on this earth. If you want to be 80 years old, I seen a couple of European like they looked like they was old, man. I don't even know the name of the group, but I seen a couple of the videos pop up. They came on the algorithm, and it was 4 white men, and they had bars. And I'm talking about, yo, I was locked in. I didn't care about how old they had bars. I was like, yo, who is these old white men? Like, they was,
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah.
yeah.
You have a gift and it just doesn't go away.
But they was saying something too. They won't just yapping. They won't just, because some people just talk because they got a mouth and a tongue, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if they don't have, you know what I'm saying, like, they're not using it, you know what I mean? It's just certain things you got to do, and before you speak, you got to think first, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't even do that. They're going, you know what I mean? And they're not even, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the air right now that need to be cleared up, and when you speak, your words, affect a lot of things, not just the people around you, but the water in your body. You know what I mean? And what are we, like, 70% water, our body?
Yes.
So if we saying certain words and we're using these words every day, we got to worry about the children that's watching. Like, everybody, our elders, we got to keep that same level of respect.
Words matter. Yeah.
I got
Definitely.
a list of things that maybe young people should tell old people to stop doing. That's a better list than telling them to stop going into the studio and creating work because that's their passion and it's a productive hobby. How about you tell 50-year-olds, stop smoking cigarettes, stop playing the lotto. You know what I'm saying? Stop drinking alcohol. Stop eating animals. Stop eating fast food. Stop eating fried chicken. All right?
I agree.
Stop watching negative, stereotypical black people on Netflix.
I agree.
All right?
Yeah.
How about we tell 50-year-olds to stop doing that
Because they're still doing it.
before you tell them to stop spitting that game in the booth?
Right.
Especially if you good at it.
Right. Right.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
What a number. Word up. Aaliyah said it, right? Peace be upon you, sis. Tell you.
Here's another thing. Okay. So the people who I know, the brothers that I know that have reached this threshold of, the half a century, the 50-year-old mark, they've been through some shit. All right? They came up in the 80s, 70s, 90s, went through all the crazy stages of life. There was a whole lot of Rodney King shit going on. There was a whole lot of Freaknik shit going on. There was a whole lot of stick 'em up, beat down, jumping, gang shit going on.
Yeah.
There was a whole lot of miseducation and misinformation. There was a whole lot of crime bill shit going on. There was a whole lot of let's take your voting rights away. Let's take your freedoms away. It was a whole lot of child support arrears going on. It was a whole lot of government fines. It was a whole lot of that shit going on.
Big facts. Big facts.
And you're going to tell me you survive all of that.
True.
You're not in prison. You're not in jail. You're not dead. You're not addicted. You're not homeless. That nigga should be speaking. If you survived all that and you're not one of them things, give that brother a microphone and let him tell his story. And who is
Clap
any
it up.
25-year-old to tell the 50-year-old who survived all this that he should be silenced?
Right. Man,
Why
that
black
journey.
people the only ones who try to silence our elders when all these white folks, they still listening to Willie Nelson, still listening to the Grateful Dead, still listening to the Rolling Stones. Ain't nobody telling them to be silent.
Why is that?
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Probably divide and conquer.
Mm.
Divide and conquer. Like, you know, like every generation has had generational wars, culture wars with their next generation's music. Like when we was coming up, hip hop was not even accepted. You know, as a child,
Yeah.
you mentioned that your mom, Blake, did not allow you to listen to
Yeah,
rap music.
man, I could. When I woke up in the morning, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I didn't know my father, but when I first got to chill with my father, he took me. I was 7 years old. He took me to Fat Boys movies. It was a movie they did.
Was it Disorderlies?
Right on the money, brother. Right on the money.
Shout out to Cool Rock Ski
Yo.
and
The whole family. Yeah.
the Human Beatbox.
Yes, and
So go ahead.
that was the first movie that I seen with my father when I got to meet him. You know what I'm saying? I was 7 years old. And when I remember them beat bopping. And it stuck on me. I was like, yo, I like the way he usually making the beat with his lips. So I started mimicking it, you know what I mean? And as I got, my mom came through and got me, you know what I'm saying? A little summertime that I had with my father, that was a little short, but I enjoyed it. So I get back to the crib one morning, you know what I'm saying? School back in. I'm beat bopping. I'm coming out the bathroom, yo. Smack right in the mouth. Don't never beat bop in my house. Like, you can't listen to that music. Don't beat bop. Don't rap. Don't do none of that. And that was it. I never did none of that until like I was 17. I started writing poems at, I'm going to say 14, but I started, that converted into music. My poems converted into me writing music at 17. So yeah, that's when I started, you know what I mean? Because I knew I was about to be a year later, 18, I can leave your house now. I can beat bop, I can rap, I can, you know what I mean? So yeah, basically, yeah.
Right. So same with me. My father was not 100% against hip hop, but he still was from the generation where he was like sampling, like, you know, rapping, you're not singing. He didn't really get it. My mother, however, was a devout Jehovah's Witness, and she hated hip hop. And what made her hate it even more was that she was a nurse and she worked night shift at the nursing home. And they would have these block parties. They would have the Brooklyn block parties, jams right outside our bedroom window with the music pumping for hours. And she couldn't really get no sleep. You know what I'm saying? And so that gave her an added incentive to hate the hip hop and hate the jams and the block parties. And she banned us from listening to it and participating in it. And, you know, I snuck out the window. We lived on the first floor, and I ain't have no bars on my bedroom window. So I snuck right out the window, went to the jam, was dancing with older ladies and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little shorty. I'm 4 or 5 years old. I'm dancing next to some older ladies, and this older lady is swinging her hands back and forth, and she got a lit joint in her hand, and she's swinging her hands back and forth dancing. I'm trying to dance with her, and she burnt my ear with her cigarette. I was like, oh, shit, that shit hurt. This is what I get for disobeying mom. But you know what I did? I kept the party going anyway. I was like, I faked that shit. Like, nah, I'm still good. Like,
That's love.
yeah.
That's love.
But it was the joy and pain of choosing this route. Like, yo, I'm a hip hopper. You know what I'm saying? So on another story, like,
beautiful.
All right, so every year the Jehovah's Witnesses would have this convention, a 3-day convention. In New York, it was at Yankee Stadium. So they would have all the speakers come out and talk about, you know, the Jehovah's Witnesses doctrines and everything. And my mom would tape the speeches. She would tape the lectures on her old school cassette tape recorder. You know what I mean? And so she had a stack of blank tapes just laying in the closet from all these conventions. She had a stack of these blank tapes laying in the closet from all these conventions. And so as I came of age, I'm looking at these blank tapes like, yo, let me put these shits to work.
Yeah.
So I took them blank tapes and I erased over them speeches with them hip hop tracks, with the Red Alert, Marley Marl show, you know what I'm saying? All that shit.
Wow.
I erased over those joints. So also, during these conventions, everybody would fall asleep because the speeches would be boring. So, like, one of the
Right.
techniques they tried to use to keep you from falling asleep was they wanted you to take notes. So every
Okay.
year before the
Okay.
convention, mom's bought me a pen and a notebook. And she's like, all right, take notes. You know what I'm saying? What did I do with that pen and notebook?
Right, music.
I wrote
Right.
rhymes, my G. I wrote rhymes. Like I sat
See?
there ignoring those speeches, writing rhymes. I would just memorize all the lines of my favorite MCs. You know, Slick Rick,
Ooh.
Lord Finesse, Big Daddy Kane. You know, I would just memorize their lyrics, KRS-One line for line, and I would
KRS,
write.
oh, man,
I would write their lyrics down in that notebook, and then I would grade each line. A plus, a A minus, a C. I would grade each fucking bar on how high the verses is, and then I would take the sum total
That was
and average
different.
it up, and just come up with a scoring system.
You different, yo.
I was
Who
doing
does
that
that?
shit.
Yo, you
Other
different.
than him.
Yo, that's why I ain't never heard nobody do that. So I know, yeah, we
Yes.
all different in our own way. You know what I'm saying? So that
But what you think happened when moms opened up that notebook one day?
I don't
she
want to
probably
know.
ripped it
She
up.
seen Slick Rick Indian girls up
Oh,
in
my
that joint. And the shit was over for your boy. You are now listening to the Street 16 podcast.